Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Jessie Lingard could be given a new 3-year contract at Manchester United. Man United are open to a sensational return for Jessie Lingard. So he may not be leaving Manchester United in the summer after all. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come out and said that he's been impressed with Jessie Lingard. Lingard has just over a year left on his current contract at Manchester United. He went out on loan to West Ham in January and he's made a fantastic impact at West Ham. West Ham are interested in getting him permanently. They value him from between 15 to 20 million pounds, but I reckon we'll demand more than that if we're to let him go permanently. It's his 5th loan spell, by the way, because before he's had loan spells with Leicester, Brighton, Derby and Birmingham. Lingard lost his place in the team earlier on this season. And there was a period where he didn't score 1 goal in the Premier League or register an assist in the Premier League for over a year. But he's won trophies at Man United. He's won the Europa League, the Charity Shield, the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. So yeah, could be getting his way back into the first team. Now I want to delve into some news on Erling Halland. So Manchester United are desperate to sign Erling Halland. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer worked with Erling Halland at Molde. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16. And earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he's keeping in touch with Halland. By the way, Solskjaer keeps calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Back in December 2019, don't forget, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Halland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. There's a good chance Halland will leave Dortmund in the summer transfer window, especially if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now, it recently said us and Chelsea suffered a blow in our pursuit of Halland because he said his move to Real Madrid was practically done, and it said he favours a move to Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund have set their asking price for Erling Haaland. It's 154 million. Dortmund will find it hard to sell him demanding that much. Halland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. Mino Raiola, his agent, said earlier on this season that there's around 6 clubs in England that can afford him. But since his arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's been at Dortmund over a year. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him, and he's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2024. But I'd love us to get him in because he'd dramatically improve us and he would assure us goals, and he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. By the way, Halland did score twice in Dortmund's 2-2 draw with Cologne not so long ago, and he stormed off the pitch. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. I give you the news on Pau Torres from Villarreal yesterday. According to reports in Spain, Pau Torres wants to come to Manchester United. Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, is angry with Man United for entering the race for Pau Torres because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites. and we could be preparing a bid for Pau Torres. We believe we can get him for less than his £52 million release clause. Pau Torres has been at Villarreal for a long time now. He's got a contract with them until 2024. Would he go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? There's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Raphael Varane. It looks very likely that Raphael Varane is going to be leaving Real Madrid. Mundo Deportivo have already said that Raphael Varane's future is in doubt and is high on our transfer wish list. Now, I think he's valued in the £60 million range. Earlier on this season, there was narratives coming out saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Varane. But I'd certainly take him at Manchester United. He's a world-class centre-half and he'd go very well alongside Maguire in our back line. He hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but I can assure if he comes to the Premier League, he will exceed expectations. He's been at Real Madrid around 10 years now. He's won 18 major honours and he's made over 300 appearances. Madrid just paid €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. He's highly experienced. He's 27 years of age. Jules Koundé, he's been another centre-half on our agenda, and I'd take him at Man United because his performances for Sevilla have been outstanding. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019, and he's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. The last time I read up regarding Jules Koundé, it said we'd been handed a boost in our bid to sign him, because it said Sevilla had lowered their asking price for Jules Koundé to 50 million. So they'd knocked 20 million off because originally they were demanding 70 million plus add-ons. He does have a £68 million release clause, but earlier on this season it says we was not willing to meet his £68 million release clause. But I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. I've said, this year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million, to get the players he wants to recommend in. Said earlier on this season that our transfer budget had been revealed. It was £80 million. And we know that's nowhere near enough for us to get the players we want in. But obviously we're going to sell players in the summer transfer window, so in that aspect we'll generate money and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. But you can identify the weaknesses in our squad. We definitely need a striker. We need a right winger. We need a holding midfielder. We need a centre-half. It also said we've been in search for a right-back to provide competition for Wan-Bissaka. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. He said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. There's a good chance that Solskjaer will get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window, because obviously Woodward has showed his support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times, and even enjoying them bad periods he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. And Woodward believes Solskjaer's the right man to take the club forward, and he did release a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. And plus, we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. It was the right decision by Manchester United to get a director of football in, because I said that's one of the structural changes that we needed at the club. Plus, Murtough knows the club inside out. He's been at Man United since 2014. And Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director and he knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Manchester United. Solskjaer's already discussed with our new recruitment team about our transfer targets and our transfer plans for the summer in general. The summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Manchester United manager. So far he's endured 4 transfer windows and hasn't been backed enough yet. And in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. But the board has been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Main explanations is reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. Woodward has been at the football club since 2012. And the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. And yes, he has been given a pay rise. Solskjaer is still getting this new contract even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. Sources at Old Trafford said a few weeks ago that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal because Ole's now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. Does Solskjaer deserve a new contract though? Like I've said, in some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. But I can assure he isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United. You know, there has been a lot of Man United fans demanding Ole out. Ole outs were trending on social media after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. But Solskjaer needs to win a trophy because he's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017. So we don't win the Europa League this season. That'll be 4 years without a trophy. And that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But Solskjaer did mention not so long ago that winning trophies is an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other managers and some other clubs. And he just said, you know, clubs like Man United trophies no longer prove success. I think he's wrong in that aspect. That's what football is about, winning trophies. But if we eventually decided to sack Solskjaer, it wouldn't really solve anything anyway. Because when we are inconsistent, not all of the blame stems from him. We couldn't sack Solskjaer at this present time anyway, even if we wanted to, because as far as I'm aware at the moment, there is no one available. I've probably got to say Solskjaer is the best manager since Ferguson, because we have enjoyed good periods under him where we have seen consistency and where he has got the best out of the team in some of them good periods and he's improved certain players. But we've also enjoyed very, very bad periods under him where you can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. The main explanation Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. And reflect on that, our board have got a soft stance on him. Disregarding him being a club legend, I'm almost certain that he wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. But I do believe that Solskjaer is in a position he shouldn't be in. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. You know, Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I think we did give Solskjaer the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether to give him the job. But we give him the job permanently because he did very, very well as the interim manager in that 3-month period. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. But he has been Man United manager now around 27 months, which is over 2 years. And he has gained some managerial experience, reflecting now on he's been with us. But my concerns about Ollie is his decision making, because in the vast majority of the games he's managed at Man United, he's been tactically naive. Yeah, there's some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but he doesn't show tactical flexibility enough. And my other concern about him, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and he doesn't have that big club arrogance as a manager. I just think we need a manager in who would suit the strappings of the club, a manager with that big club arrogance, and a manager with a proven pedigree, and a manager that can get, the right players in. Next season will be Solskjaer's 3rd full season. This is his 2nd full season at the moment. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 this season. But I don't think a top 4 finish is good enough without the Europa League. Danny Murphy said the same thing not so long ago. Murphy said that Solskjaer will be sacked if Man United fail to win the Europa League. But according to our board, he won't be. But if we finish 2nd this season in the league and we win a trophy, which obviously can only be the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. I certainly don't think Solskjaer can lead us to a Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for 8 years. We was in the title race at one point though, wasn't we? Because at one point Solskjaer got us top of the Premier League for the first time in a long time. But obviously there was a period where we dropped far too many points, so that's why we're no longer in the title race. But I can honestly say there has been progress from last season. That's what Woodward's basically saying. But we've got to credit Ollie in quite a few aspects. We're 2nd in the Premier League. He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, got us to the Europa League quarter-final, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to City. He's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He's made some good signings since he's come in. He's spent almost £300 million. I also like the way he has promoted the youth. He did well last season in his first full season at the club, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us a 3rd place finish, the 2nd highest we've finished since Ferguson, and he got us qualification for the Champions League. And we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. I think we're unbeaten in our last 22 Premier League away games. It was 28 in all competitions until Leicester had beaten us in the FA Cup quarter-final. But in the last 8 years, nothing has changed at Manchester United. It's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. The same things happened over and over again. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, we sacked Jose Mourinho. Still nothing has really changed. We've overpaid for players. We've spent over £1 billion on players since Ferguson retired. And we've brought around 36, 37 players in. Mistakes have been made as well in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. But I knew we wasn't going to be the same team when Ferguson retired. A lot of Man United fans predicted it. So anyway, we are going to sell quite a few players in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that Juan Mata will leave. It looks like Cavani's going to go. A lot of United fans, though, would like him to stay for next season. A lot of United fans are saying we should sell Anthony Martial, because Martial's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. But now apparently Martial could be staying. Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll sell him in the summer transfer window, because he's one of our first choice midfielders and I've got my strong reservations about him. Pogba could still possibly leave in the summer transfer window. Will we sell Fred in the summer transfer window? Phil Jones, I want him to go. I want Romero to go. I think there's a good chance that we'll sell David De Gea. Will Bay go? Could we loan Brandon Williams out? Will we get rid of Delors permanently? So, imagine if we sell all them players, we'll generate a substantial amount and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. There's a lot of players that have improved at Manchester United. And these good players in general, I've been very, very impressed with Dean Henderson in the games he's been involved in this season. You know, Henderson has made very good saves. He's made good aerial claims. His distribution's also been good. And he's kept a lot of clean sheets. And I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number one, because he's got that experience behind him. He endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. Dean Henderson has started 6 games in a row for Man United. Before the start of this season, we give him a new 6-year contract worth £120,000 a week. Luke Shaw, he's been absolutely superb this season. He's been one of our best players. He's been player of the season by far. And we are willing to offer him a new contract, reflecting on his good performances. But Luke Shaw showed good attacking intent. He's got into very good positions. He's put good crosses into the box. He's provided width. Defensively, he's been superb. Shaw's had a good career at Man United, apart from his injuries. Shaw's been at the club over 6 years, and he still remains our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles. Harry Maguire, he's done well in some games this season, where he showed the ability to play out from the back. He's been effective in the air. Defensively, he's been good. And he's been good from set pieces. But he's had endured bad games. But either way, Harry Maguire wasn't worth the £80 million we got him for. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and is the second most expensive signing behind Paul Pogba. Eric Bay, I've been impressed with him in the games he's played in. Because Bay intercepts the ball well, he shows the ability to play out from the back, and he's very effective in the air. My only element of concern about Bay is too injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability, but he has lost his place in the team. Now, contract talks for Eric Bay are on hold. Bay wants assurances over his playing time before he decides whether to accept the new contract or not. Now, Bay recently apologised to Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because he said Bay was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him, and he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Bay has like 15 months left on his current contract. We paid around £30 million for him from Villarreal back in 2016. And Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's done well in some games this season. When he's done well, he showed some good attacking intent. He's got into good positions. He's put good crosses into the box. Defensively, he's been good. But when he's been poor, he's been caught out far too many times. And he's lacked that attacking intent. Bissaka needs to show more attacking intent. But I think he's got a long-term future at the club. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019. Now, Scott McTominay, he's a decent player. He really is. Still young, got a lot of development in him. But McTominay is not yet at that level where we want him to be at. But we've got to give him more time. Just after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United, so he committed his future with the club. Fred, I think aspects of his game have improved. You know, when Fred plays well, he can get forward well, his passing can be good, he can break up play, he can have chances. But Fred wasn't worth the £52 million that we got him for from Shakhtar Donetsk. Fred had an abysmal game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. Probably his worst game in a Man United shirt. Gave the ball away countless times and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. But I would keep him potentially past the summer. Paul Pogba, he's improved. We've been getting the best out of Paul Pogba in recent months. And he delivered the goods in Milan, came on, scored the goal and made an instant impact. I think we need to keep Paul Pogba potentially past the summer because Paul Pogba brings creativity to the team. But disregarding Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. Paul Pogba's just come back from a thigh injury not so long ago. I think we need to keep Paul Pogba on that left wing because that's where he's more effective. You know, left wing's more of an advanced role. Donnie Van Der Beek, I think he's a good player. That's when he plays. You know, most of Donnie Van Der Beek's appearances have come from the bench when he's been involved in games. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Now, Mark Hughes was recently talking about Donnie Van Der Beek and he reckons that Donnie Van Der Beek feels lost at the club and he's edging closer to a Man United exit. He said prior to that, though, that Donnie Van Der Beek feels loved at Manchester United, despite his lack of game time. But prior to that, he said that Donnie Van Der Beek has threatened to quit the club after 1 season due to his lack of game time, and it said he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward. Earlier on this season, Ollie made an admission saying that Van Der Beek is unhappy at the club, but he promised him more game time at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last summer, and Donnie Van Der Beek can play in 3 different roles, so he's versatile. But Ronald de Boer has actually backed him to be a success at Manchester United. Don't forget, he just recently come back from injury. And Bruno Fernandes, he's been absolutely exceptional. You know, Fernandes has been at the club over a year now. And he's our best player. And he's the best signing we've made since Ferguson retired. In most of his games at Man United, he's been very consistent. There's also been a few games where he has looked off the pace. But that's because we've overplayed him. I said at some point he needs a rest. Mason Greenwood, I've been very, very impressed with him since he broke into our first team squad. Marcus Rashford, he's also good, but he's also enjoyed his bad periods. And Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. So these good players at Man United, but there is a few players that don't even get in our 11. You know, Williams doesn't get in our 11. He's our 3rd choice left back. Tuanzebe, he's another one that doesn't get in our 11. Jones doesn't get in our 11. Romero doesn't get in our 11. Juan Mata, he doesn't get in our 11. So obviously we've got to sort this out. Mamad Diallo Traore, he looks a good asset for the first team. Scored his first goal for the club not so long ago against AC Milan. It was a very good goal as well. He was doing well for the under-23s, wasn't he? We got Mamad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million from Atlanta. Obviously, it was 19 million up front with add-ons. So I will be doing another video soon, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.